What's up, guys? Today we're going over the very famous EZONE 98, and we're going to talk about why this is a racket that is just so solid. And what do I mean by solid? This racket really does give you a lot, and today we're going to jump into this. I haven't played with an EZONE 98 on the channel for a while. I have played with the EZONE 100, so if you want to know about the EZONE 100, go check out that video after this one, or vice versa. But yeah, let's really get into it here. The EZONE 98, same paint job as the 100. Very good with their quality control. So really the things that will vary that you put on their rackets can just be grip, dampener, and strings. On other rackets, a lot of the time can vary in between 3 to 5 grams in swing weight and static weights, just because their quality control can be off. So yeah, let's go. EZONE 98. One thing to mention is comparing this to the EZONE 100, in hand, holding the racket up on the throat or in the grip, for me, feels way better. It feels a little bit more like a player's racket. I feel like the EZONE 100 at times can feel very clunky and is extremely meant for flat hitting. There's a feeling that you can get with rackets sometimes. It's very like slappy, frying pan feeling, very linear swings, and I feel like the EZONE 100, that's can be a feeling that you could get from playing with that one, where this one, you feel like you can maneuver a little bit more with the ball, kind of put it more where you'd like, especially kind of having that ball out in the contact spot, creating some angle, pushing it deep, hitting slice, all that stuff. We'll get into that. But yeah, really happy with this playtest. This racket could easily be, for sure, at the end of the year, it could get into my top 5. But yeah, let's really jump into it now. So the Groundstrokes from the back, one thing to note, for some reason, like just starting to hit from baseline to baseline up the middle, I actually thought the launch was quite low. I was playing with a lot of different rackets this day. Radical MP, SX 300 Tour. I was even tinkering with the Gravity Tour, the Gravity Pro. I've already made videos about those, but wanted to bring those back out and give them another kind of retry, just to help me understand rackets better, but also for you guys. But to my point, I thought that this racket, the launch was relatively low, and I actually caught the net a lot in the beginning, but then I figured it out and I was making the ball in the court, don't worry. But yeah, you're gonna realize that you can get some great tight spin with this frame from the baseline. So that means that the ball flies about window 1 over the net with spin, but can land deep and it penetrates the court. It's not like a flat ball window 1, it's a spinny ball window 1. But that doesn't mean you can't play window 2 and 3 with heavy spin either. Can get that as well. That's one thing that I feel like you have that freedom with this frame. Both forehand and backhands feel very similar when you hit the ball. So yeah, overall, very happy with it on the Groundstrokes. At times, it felt like it was landing a smidge short, but that for me is an easy switch. I think that's a string thing, because this racket, you can get good pop out of it. Once again, I have sink 50 pounds in here, very controllable string. Sink 50 pounds for me would feel good too in the Dunlop SX 300 Tour, but that's more power and spin. So for me, maybe I'll cross it with a little bit of a softer poly. Maybe I put Restring 0 in here. My Super Toro and Caviar hybrid as well would work great in this frame too. So I think that's a quick switch. So honestly, I'm gonna go 9 out of 10 on the Groundstrokes with this racket. Also to note, no weight in this racket at all. This is stock form. Hey guys, are you guys tired of losing to players you should beat? Well, trust me, I know that feeling. After 4 years of college tennis, I've packed everything into one system that works. Now, I'm not saying you're going to win every single match you play, but you'll definitely win more. Look, most players only focus on one aspect of their game, but this trifecta tennis system will help you improve your court skills, on-court conditioning, and your mental game, all in just 90 days. This complete tennis performance bundle will give you step-by-step videos, workout plans, and mental strategies to help you fit it in your busy schedule. Click the link below to level up your game for just $27. And get a 30-day money-back guaranteed if you're not satisfied with your results. So with that, stop wondering why you're stuck and start winning matches you should. Now let's get back to the video. Up at the net, volleys, extremely impressed with this. I didn't think the volleys would perform as well as it did with this racket. Yeah, honestly, super stable. I think that's the thing that's the standout at the net, is this racket did not budge. Balls that were coming in a little hotter with some more pace, ball speed and spin, didn't make the racket, waggle, wobble in any sort of way. Was able to stick the volleys deep, close them angles short, put a little spin on them for some drop volleys. Really felt good. Did I get all the connected feelness from rackets like a Pro Staff or a Prestige or a Blade. Maybe not that much, but definitely enough to give it like a 9 out of 10. So this racket really performed well at the net. Very happy with it here. On serves, another big high score in this category. You can really pump out the flat serve, and that's even with a control string in here, sync. I was able to really get the ball moving on the flat serve and hit the spots too, which is important. It's one thing to be able to crank out a serve, but can you hit your spots? Can you hit them on demand? And I felt like I could get some good power with good accuracy with this frame, considering the string in it as well. Also the spin serves, moving some slices off the courts. Not as successful with the slice for some reason as the kick. I thought my kick had a lot of action. I was playing on clay today with this frame, so maybe the ball was biting a little bit more in the clay for the kick, but overall, very happy with this racket on serve again too, so we're gonna give it 9 out of 10. Returns, played very well here, happy with how it feels. You can chip, you can play high and heavy, you can block. It's nothing amazing, but it's definitely above average. Gonna put it at 8 out of 10 here. I would be interested to see how it would perform with a guy blasting serves at me on like a hard court. I don't have this luxury right now of returning a serve that's 125 miles an hour on a hard court. It's also a little colder here in Canada right now, so it would be interesting to see how a racket like this would perform there. I think it would do fine from what my experience has been so far, but I did enjoy this racket on the return, 8 out of 10. Now to the power category. This is a racket that is in a racket line that can offer big power, but comparing to other rackets is not as much. Like, you're gonna get more power out of the EZONE 100 for sure. I think you might get more power out of the EZONE 98 Tour. Haven't played that one yet. I don't know if I will either, but you could get more power out of this racket if you add lead tape at 12 o'clock, I think, or change the string setup. But for what I experienced on the Groundstrokes, like I did mention, I felt like they were landing a tiny short from time to time, but nothing like horrible. So you can easily change that with either weight or your string. But from what my experience was, I would probably put it at like a 7 out of 10. Gets the job done, nothing amazing. So that's why it's getting that 7. Control. Very impressed. When rackets can balance the control and the power average to above average, I think for me, it becomes a racket that I would consider playing with, and this racket does do that very well. The power to control ratio is very good. I just gave it a 7 on the power, which is decent, and now the control didn't have this feeling like I was gonna spray balls long, spray them wide, or like bottom net or anything like that. I had a great feel of where I was placing the ball, directional control, and then also with depth. That's the only little him and haw I would have on the control. It's just like, I thought balls were landing a tiny short, but like, it wasn't like I was missing. They was still in the court, which is a plus. So a tiny bit better in this category than the power category. We're gonna give it 8 out of 10. Maneuverability with this racket was excellent. No really issues whatsoever. Grip changes, moving through the air, all felt very clean, simple, good. 9 out of 10 here. Stability here. Now to stability. Another part of this racket that just really surprised me coming in stock form, considering I had major problems with the EZONE 100 when it came to stability up at net, returns, even on serve. It felt a little wimpy at times, from time to time. Just overall, the EZONE 100 felt like a feather in my hand across the board on every single shot. This racket was pretty much the opposite. Up at net, it was super sturdy. On the serve, was good. Returns were good. Overall, just a great experience. The racket didn't really buckle at any point, and that, you know, being a stock racket without any weight, it means it's deserving of a high score in my opinion. So for this, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. When it comes to comfort, this racket performed well as well. I don't think players are going to have an issue with this frame when it comes to elbow pain. It is a 63 stiffness. I played, once again, a pretty stiff string in here. Restring sync, 50 pounds. So players actually could probably put this string tension up even with a stiffer string. 63 stiffness in a frame is relatively low, or average, middle to low. So don't be afraid to put the tension a little higher in here. Or you can also put a softer poly in here, and I think you'll totally be fine. I didn't have any issues whatsoever with this racket. But I do know that from time to time, Yonex rackets do hurt people's arms. I've never been a part of that group, but yeah, no problems here for me. So I kind of have to give it quite a high score, 9 out of 10 here, we'll say. Yeah, no comfort issues with this racket whatsoever. Touch and feel, I really enjoyed this racket at the net. So the touch and feel category will get a high score here. You know, playing these little chip dinky shots, slices, kind of digs in and out of the corner felt good, pickups. You are quite connected to this racket, which is a feeling that everybody should want to a racket. And once again, comparing it to the EZONE 100, I really like this one a lot more. I know there's a ton of EZONE 100 lovers out there, but for me, this racket just feels a lot more at home. It could be my game style, it could be the way I hit the ball, it could be a variety of things, but just all the little things that come into this touch and feel category make this racket an 8.5 out of 10, and me just really love this experience compared to like an EZONE 100 or any other frames that are kind of competing against this EZONE 98. Topspin, believe it or not, this is not a topspin monster. If you want to, you know, go big spin, I'd look somewhere else. If you want to get big power, I'd also probably look somewhere else, even as a 98. You know, you got Pure 98s, you got V-Core, also Yonex frame. I don't think this is a power monster, and it's not a spin monster. It does really well in the categories, but if you want frames specifically for those things, like spin, I'd look somewhere else. It does the job, but if you want to hit heavy spin, you might have to work for a little bit more compared to some other rackets. So for that reason, on the spin, I will give it 7.5 out of 10. It's not a bad score. It's enough for me, but for the general audience, if you want a lot of spin, maybe look at the V-Core line, even within Yonex. And last but not least, slice. No issues, very good. For some reason, I always have this thing in my head that like when I'm slicing with a Yonex frame, it will be weird. Maybe it's because of like the isometric head. To be honest with you guys, I never really loved Yonex rackets even in the past. Like the V-Core 95, I think was my favorite one that I played with. Also the Carews old racket I did enjoy as well. But yeah, on the slice, really no issues. Once again, very connected. Maybe it's the string combination in this racket. I think they complement each other well. But yeah, definitely above average here on the slice. Nice through the air, you're able to keep it low, 8.5 out of 10. So guys, there you have it, the EZONE 98. I think this might be one of the rackets that I've scored overall the highest. It's just very solid. Just like I said at the start of the video, I think a lot of people can like this. A lot of people are part of this EZONE like borderline cult. I know people are always looking for their DR98s, and there's always specific gears that they like over other ones. And you know, the thing that I see is they always stay with the EZONE. A lot of EZONE lovers love this line and will continue to love it. And I'm sure that this will be an easy upgrade for a lot of people that already use the EZONE. One thing to note though, I really think the EZONE 100 is a completely different racket. I don't feel any similarities whatsoever. It feels different swinging through the air, does not feel near as good on touch and feel shots. You can hit the ball a lot flatter with the EZONE 100, so kind of like a slap. As you guys can tell, it doesn't seem like I really love the EZONE 100. I don't, but that doesn't mean it's a bad racket. Check out my review on that if you're interested in learning more. But yeah, I'm really happy with this one, and I think it's gonna work for a lot of intermediate to advanced players. You can really make it however you want. Throw some lead on here if you're not happy with how it feels stock. Put hybrid string in there, put a restring sync controllable poly, and I really think a lot of people will like this one. So I recommend giving this one a demo, and if you wanna buy it, you can check on Tennyson to use our code and get a discount. But guys, that's gonna be it for today. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.